I have many very happy memories of my time, lots of highs, lots of lows, but most importantly a privilege to serve the people of South Australia and most particularly the people of Dunstan here. I've made a decision that it's now time for me to make way for new and fresh ideas serving the people of Dunstan in the South Australian Parliament, and so in the coming months I'll be considering when I hand my actual resignation to the Speaker, because I want to give, of course, the party all the right time to pre-select the very best candidate for the Liberal Party. It's very important to me that we have continuing solid Liberal representation for the people of Dunstan, so that's why I've decided to announce today that I won't be completing my entire term. I thank the people of Dunstan for electing me on 4 occasions now, and that we will have a by-election in the coming months.
Stephen, why do this in a 2-step process? Why make this intent now and then formally resign at a later date? Why not do it all in one year?
Well, I think this is a great opportunity for the people of Dunstan to cast their judgment at the halfway point, if you like, of the Malinauskas government. We obviously need to pre-select the candidate, so by announcing it today that I will be resigning in the coming months, that it gives the party the chance to pre-select the very best candidate, get out there and give ourselves the best shot for the by-election. The by-election will be a referendum at the halfway point of the Malinauskas government. They got elected on a single promise to fix ramping by any measure. They haven't done that. In fact, I think it's the worst in the history of South Australia. That's not good for the people of Dunstan. It's certainly not good for the people of South Australia.
Have you got an idea as to when the best time would be, though, for a by-election?
Well, as I said, I think that the by-election will be around the halfway point of the cycle. So I don't want to put an exact date on it. I know that some of you in the press pack have been really predicting dates, and now you've got another opportunity to predict the final date of the by-election. But look, the reality is I wanted to go back to my electorate. I didn't want to look like a former leader that threw my toys out of the cot after losing the election. I've loved spending time over the last 2 years here. I'm still working hard. I got back on the 2nd of January this year, and I'm working today and tomorrow on finalising my submission to the Emergency Management Act review, and so that will go in because that's due in early next week. I've loved this electorate, but it is time. It is time for the next generation to stand up and represent the people of Dunstan.
Are you confident that you'll be cleared by the Public Safety Commissioner who's currently reviewing your role with MITA?
Well, I won't preempt that, but as I've said to you previously, Ollie, you know, I've done the right thing. I went to the Commissioner in the first instance. It's back in the Commissioner's hands.
So you're confident that you will be cleared?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, have you been made aware from Ms Ranieri as to when she'll be making a determination and releasing publicly?
No.
Stephen, what do you want your political legacy to be?
Well, my political legacy really is up to the people of South Australia to judge down the track. Obviously, getting through COVID was a massive milestone, but I think in general, the economic transformation of the state is what I want to be remembered for. When we came to government, we had thousands of young people leaving the state every single year. We've turned that around now. We've got a strong economy, one of the strongest in the entire nation. We did well to reverse that brain drain, and look, I'm very confident and optimistic about the future of South Australia.
We know that there's a process to play out here to pre-select someone to contest the by-election.
Yes.
Even yesterday you were out with Anna Valencia getting a coffee down the road here, I'm afraid. Is she someone you think will be very capable to try and fill your role?
Well, Anna Valencia would be an excellent member of Parliament, there's no doubt about that. But ultimately, one of the great things about the Liberal Party is that all the members of the Liberal Party get to pre-select their candidate. And so this is a matter for the party, for the members here in Dunstan, the large number of members here in Dunstan, and they'll have that say over the coming weeks.
Has Liberal polling suggested that you've turned Dunstan from the most marginal seat in the state back to a safe Liberal seat?
I don't think you could ever say that Dunstan is a safe Liberal seat. In fact, I think I'm the first Liberal in the history of South Australia to hold this seat at back-to-back elections. It's always a marginal seat. It's a great seat. It's a very diverse seat. There are a lot of interests here. It's an intelligent seat. I think people will look at what's on offer and make their decision. But I genuinely believe this is an opportunity for the people of Dunstan to tell Peter Malinauskas he hasn't got this right. He got elected promising to fix ramping. It was very clear, and I think the people of South Australia believed him that he had a plan to do that. Well, he hasn't. It's been a revolving door of leadership in the health system since he came to power, and we've gone backwards. So I think this is the people's chance at the halfway point to cast judgment on Peter Malinauskas and the Labor Party.
Do you think it's practical that the party treats flexible women as sex?
Look, I can tell you one thing, and I think David would agree with me. Telling Liberal members what to do is never a good idea, so I think it's a democratic process and they'll come up with the right person, they always do.
Are you pulling the trigger before the outcome of that review?
No, I think this is the perfect time, the halfway point of the electoral cycle, to have a by-election in Dunstan, and it's a chance for people to make very, very clear that they're not happy with the performance of the government at the halfway point.
Have you spoken with Ms. Office or Loma herself to let her know about this?
No.
Can we expect to see you out on the campaign trail?
Absolutely. I don't plan to be leaving Norwood anytime soon. I love this electorate. I'm still going to be here, living in Norwood. I'm still going to be supporting South Australia at every single opportunity. I love this state. I want it to do extremely well. I won't be in the South Australian Parliament, but I'll certainly be doing everything I can to make sure that we have future prosperity for the next generation.
You say you're looking at new and fresh ideas. What's next?
I think a little bit of a break to start with. I haven't got anything specifically to go. No stress to my kids. I'm not leaving for family reasons like every other politician in the history of the world, so they shouldn't have any fears that they're going to have to spend a lot more time with me. So they'll be very relieved at that. No, I'm really just going to take a break and then consider some options for the future.
So no job lined up to move directly into?
No.
Do you have any?
No, look, I've been focused on my electorate for the past 2 years. I was the leader for 9 years, and often when you're the leader, you don't get to spend as much time in your electorate as you would like. I've loved spending the last 2 years really focused on the people of Dunstan, but it is now time for fresh ideas and a new person to represent the state in the state parliament.
What do you make of precedent?
How long has it been?
Well, it wasn't my intention to resign, but I came back to work on the 2nd of January, and I, worked very hard over the last couple of years. Got through most of my work, and I suppose in the last week or so, I formed the opinion that it was best for somebody else to take over, somebody with new ideas, fresh ideas, to take this seat forward.
What do you make of Cressida's representation of the electorate? Cressida O'Hanlon?
Yes.
What do you make of her representation here? Has she done a good job?
Well, she's not the representative.
Oh, sorry. Do you have any regrets throughout your career?
No, look, I think, when you're the Premier, especially during something like a pandemic, you make thousands and thousands of decisions. Some you might get wrong, but I don't leave office with any major regrets whatsoever. I'm very proud of our achievement in terms of the economy, in terms of the reform agenda that we led, and of course the way that we led South Australia through the pandemic. The reality is South Australia had, I think, amongst the best results anywhere in the world, and that's a massive thank you to every single person in our state who put the overall state first rather than offer their own interests, and we got through it, and I think with great results.
What is the weight been though on this decision, given the fact that the Public Sector Commissioner is reviewing?
No, it's not been a consideration at all.
Do you think you would have won the 2022 election if Ron O'Connor didn't come along? Do you think?
Oh, look, I think, there's a whole pile of what-ifs scenarios. The reality is I didn't win the 22 election. Peter Malinauskas did. He's in power now, and the people have got to cast a judgment at the halfway point on whether or not he has done a good job delivering on his core promise, which was very clear. It was on every Stobie poll. I mean, apart from those ones that had me with the rat's body, but apart from those Stobie polls, all the other Stobie polls basically had Peter Malinauskas was going to fix ramping. Well, he hasn't done that.
What do you think is your biggest accomplishment?
I think transforming the economy. I think the reality is South Australia was looking in the rear vision mirror when we came to government. Now we're looking at future industries, defence, space, cyber, machine learning, blockchain, ag tech, renewables, hydrogen, the creative sectors. This is a very exciting time, I think, to be in South Australia. But make no mistake, it was the Liberal Party which changed that trajectory. I'm going to hand over now to David Speirs, my great colleague, my great friend. I supported him, obviously, to succeed me as the leader of the Liberal Party in South Australia. He's got the worst job in South Australia, being the leader of the opposition, but he's doing a fantastic job, and I can't wait for him to be the next Premier of South Australia.
Thank you, Stephen, and I'll just start by making a few remarks about Stephen's contribution to South Australia, but also to the Liberal Party and to my own career. Stephen has been by my side for more than a decade now, from when I was a candidate in the former seat of Bright in the lead up to the 2014 state election. Stephen elevated me to Shadow Cabinet in 2017. He made me the state's Environment Minister in 2018. And I've got so much gratefulness for what Stephen has provided to me in the way of mentorship and support, backing me in Cabinet, supporting me in the community, in my electorate. It has been so good to be able to have Stephen's mentorship since taking on the leadership. A former leader who has sat behind me, giving me advice, providing me with support, providing me with insights into the way of doing this very challenging job, but a really important job, and a job that Stephen did, leading the party for 9 years and being the leader of the opposition for more than 5 years as well. Not to mention the fact that he was also Premier of South Australia for 4 years. Stephen has transformed this state in many ways. I think history will be very kind to Stephen's leadership. History will be very kind to Stephen's legacy. His representation here in Dunstan, winning the seat of Labour with a huge swing in 2010, holding the seat in 2014, 2018, 2022. That hasn't happened before. No Liberal has been re-elected once in the seat of Dunstan in recent history, never mind four elections in a row. Stephen has led the Liberal Party in South Australia for more than 9 years. There has traditionally been a fair bit of turnover in leadership in this party. Stephen showed that he could create a level of unity and stability within the party, which seems now to be really entrenched within the party. We modernised the party, we made it a party that could form government, and yes, there were the times during that period that were challenging. The COVID-19 pandemic was unprecedented, unexpected, but Stephen's leadership throughout that time was something that I watched closely and with great admiration. Sitting around the cabinet table with Stephen, I learned so much about how to bring a group of decision makers along in the journey, how to communicate with the South Australian people, and how to put the interests of our state above populism and above ideology. And I just want to thank Stephen for his contribution to our party, to our state, and of course to the electorate of Dunstan, which he has so passionately represented.
Is there one piece of advice you can fall back to? Is there a phrase or something that he gave you when you stepped into the role?
Well, not to listen to the squeaky wheel, to keep an eye on the horizon, on the big picture, to be really clear about what I stand for and what the party stands for, and just to keep driving on and believing in what the Liberal Party can do for our state. And not to, I don't want to diminish anything that our party did in government. I think there's so much that we can celebrate, and again, I think history will be kind to the 4 years that the Liberal Party was in government under Stephen's leadership.
David, you're clearly framing the by-election as a referendum on Peter Malinowski's ramping health and Labor's performance. We flip that 180 degrees, but it also be seen as a referendum on your leadership, where the Liberal Party is in South Australia, and your plans for the future.
The people of Dunstan will be able to reflect on both parties. They will certainly see this, I believe, as I'll just stop. Referendum on ramping. Look at that, on time. Paramedics are on our side these days. Oh, it's a fire engine.
We supported them too.
We do support them, and we'll continue to support them. Our fires do a great job. Look, folks, there's no doubt that this will be a referendum on Peter Malinowski's abysmal performance in leading this state, and in particular his central campaign promise, which was to fix the ramping crisis. He tries to move the goalposts now. He tries to spin his way out of this one. Ramping is at historically high levels. It has almost, in some months, tripled what it was when we left office in March 2022. The people of Dunstan will have to reflect on that. They know what's going on here. They know that the 2022 election was won on a lie that Labour would fix the ramping prices. They had no plan. They thought they could throw money at the problem and Chris Picton could spin his way out of it. Well, let's just think about what the real life consequences of that is. Labour took control of our health system, they took control of our ambulance service, and now we have situations like Eddie, who waited 10 hours for an ambulance and died. The Dobson family from Hackham West, who we met on the weekend, who an ambulance simply didn't turn up for. Peter Malinauskas said he would fix the ramping prices. He's done the complete opposite. The health system's on its knees, and the people of Dunstan will have this opportunity, a unique opportunity, to have their say on exactly how they feel about that fraud that was taken to the 2022 election.
What would the potential defeat in Dunstan mean for you and your leadership in the state of the Liberal Party in South Australia?
Well, I think we are still the underdogs in this upcoming by-election. Stephen Marshall, long-term local member of Parliament, a popular member of Parliament, a former Premier. We have to remember that no Liberal in modern times has been re-elected in this seat, and never mind to win it 4 times in a row. It will be very hard for the Liberal Party to win in the seat of Dunstan. I'll be giving it my all. I've modernised the party. I've got a youthful, energetic team. We've been really clear about what we stand for. We've been upfront about the values of the Liberal Party. We have to communicate that effectively over the coming weeks and months to the people of Dunstan. I want us to get a great candidate in the field that can demonstrate the modernity of our party, the relevance of our party to this community, and just get on with communicating to this part of Adelaide that we stand for them and we've got their backs.
Would you like to see a female representative?
Sorry.
It was still real anyway, given the result at the state election. This has resulted in this seat being a very marginal seat. So do you accept that even before today's announcement it was going to be a tough win in the next election?
Well, this is a hard seat for us to win. There's no doubt about that. We are the underdogs in this contest. We don't have the resources of government, but what we do have is a lot of energy, a lot of belief in our state, and a desire to communicate Liberal Party values and what we stand for to this community. I think that will resonate. I think we're very much in this to win it, but equally, I don't underestimate the challenge that lies ahead.
Would you like to see a female in Dunstan?
I, like Stephen, one of the things Stephen has taught me, and I wish I'd listened to it more often along the way, is not to interfere with Liberal Party pre-selection processes, and I will definitely listen to that on an ongoing basis. I'm not going to make any comment. One of the great things is, in this party, we have got a grassroots franchise amongst our memberships. Our members, people who signed up to membership of the Liberal Party, they get to pick their local candidates. The members in the seat of Dunstan of the Labour Party, their candidate is parachuted in and they're like, oh, we better work with this person, whether they know them or not. I know in my own seat, the sub-branch has never been able to pick the Labour Party candidate. They're just sort of dropped in there. That's not how we work. We've got a vibrant membership in this seat who will be able to go through a democratic process and pick the candidate to represent the Liberal Party. And whoever that is, Stephen and I will be alongside them in the communities that make up this seat, advocating that they be elected.
When do you anticipate the pre-selection process?
Well, the State Executive will meet later today to set some indicative timelines. We don't know when the by-election will be because that will be predicated on the decision of the Speaker once a resignation is received from Stephen to him. So don't know when the by-election will be, but I want an efficient pre-selection process. I want that wrapped up in a reasonably curtailed time frame.
Just another one to Stephen, if that's all right.
Okay, well, any more questions for me?
Just briefly on this deal.
Yeah.
You talk about the way Labor operates and the way that it parachutes in candidates from time to time. If we see what's happened in this seat, obviously Cressida O'Hanlon contested this seat at the 2022 state election. She contested the overlapping federal seat in 2019. You expect to run a contest and campaign against her.
I've got no idea who Labour will pre-select. They might find another candidate. I don't know if Cressida will be their candidate. You'll have to ask the Labour Party. One thing that I don't pretend to understand is how that party works. A lot happens behind closed doors and in dark rooms.
Just before we go back to Stephen,
Yeah.
just on another topic, the government's considering raising the criminal age of responsibility from 10 to 12. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I was made aware of this earlier today. I don't have a great deal of insight as to what the government's proposing, apart from that age threshold that they want to raise. They're going to have to convince me and the people of South Australia that that is warranted, and that there is evidence to show that that won't create problems for our criminal justice system, that it won't create problems for our police. The police have been historically against raising the age of criminal responsibility, so I'd be interested to know what the Police Association think of that. But importantly, we've got a real challenge, a real problem and a real concern in South Australia about significantly rising crime at the moment. And the government better really have a plan to deal with our crime wave that's spread from the CBD into the suburbs and into the regions. There are parts of this state where people are frightened to go out at night at the moment. We know that that's the case. We've had lots of feedback. We've had high-profile assaults and sadly murders. So the government really should concentrate on that rather than open up something that might lead to adverse outcomes when it comes to crime rates in this state. Regardless, I don't have the evidence in front of me to make an informed decision or make an informed comment today on what the government's proposing. I'll await to see what that evidence is, but I'd be very keen to hear from stakeholders, particularly the police, as to what they think about that one.
Okay, so just one or two more questions.
Yeah, with Dave saying that the Liberal Party is the underdog going into this by-election, do you believe that you've personally done enough in the last 12 months in terms of appearances in Parliament and being active in the community to ensure that the Liberal Party does win?
Well, as I said, I don't think I've ever spent more time in the electorate than I have over the last 2 years. I've been extraordinarily active in this fantastic community, but it is now time, and it's time for somebody else to step up, and I'm going to be working very hard until I hand in that resignation for the people of Dunstan, and thereafter I'm going to still keep serving the people of South Australia.
So just to clarify, what is your intention over the next couple of months? Is it any bills specifically that you want to get up in terms of, obviously you've highlighted what your next intention is, but what's the role?
Well, at the moment we've got a city plan review here in Norwood. As I said, the Emergency Management Act review is underway, and I'll be putting a submission into that. And there's plenty of other issues. It's a busy electorate office here in Norwood, the headquarters for, or if you like, the electorate office for the seat of Dunstan.
And have we got you for months, or is it weeks, or how much longer have you got left?
As I said, look, I don't want to be drawn on an exact time or date. Mike Smithson should be doing that. I mean, he's given, I think, 18 or 20 predictions so far, and quite frankly, one day he'll get it right. Thank you very much, guys.
How would you describe the health system when you did leave?
Well, the health system was in a remarkably good situation, given that we'd just gone through COVID. Obviously, we had reversed the decision of the former government to close the repat, to downgrade Modbury and other hospitals in South Australia, to close St Margaret's. We'd done a lot of work to unwind the mess of transforming health. We invested billions of dollars into our health system. A lot of those projects are only coming online now, but even with that, we have the situation, a revolving door of leadership within the health service in South Australia, SA Health, and it's not doing well by any measures. This is an opportunity for the people of Dunstan, for the people of South Australia, to cast judgment at the halfway point of this electoral cycle. Thank you very much.